out of control. Earnhardt sliding, Wallace trying to get by. It's been a year of controversy for Rusty Wallace, and this could make it a long season.
I don't know. I've been controversial all the time, and man, I love my fans. I always have, and sometimes they're pretty hard on me, but that's okay.
Controversy is the one thing you try to avoid it, but it hit you nonetheless. How do you rate yourself handling it?
I think I'm pretty good at handling it. I just don't like it when people try to change it around, change the reality of it around. I don't like being built up the bad guy when all I'm doing is just racing hard.
Long overdue, Mark Martin, number 6, escapes unscathed and manages to pilot his Jack Roush-owned machine to his maiden Winston Cup triumph. It couldn't have come at a better time. He's been knocking on stardom's door all season.
I feel really good about what we've accomplished. I'm real proud of the whole team, Steve Meal, Jack Roush, Robin Pemberton, and all the guys that have put their hearts and souls into this. And it's their accomplishment, or a team accomplishment, you know. I'm real proud of them.
Until that victory at Rockingham, can you sort of tell us how frustrating it was to come so close so many times and have the press write about Mark's going to win someday, but he just fell short again?
Sometimes it was real frustrating, and sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes it was disappointing. You know, like racing, my life and my moods go up and down, you know. There was a time when it was extremely frustrating. There was a time it was really depressing. There was a time that right after Charlotte that I just didn't know what we had to do, you know, and I didn't know if it was ever going to happen, you know. But those frustrations are behind us now, and, you know, we dealt with them pretty good. We had some pretty big disappointments, and all in all, it's been a great year, and we're going to be better prepared to make a run at the championship in '90.
The complexion of the Winston Cup title chase took on a new and very interesting look as the campaign headed west to Phoenix, Arizona. If anybody was going to unseat Wallace in the standings, it'd have to come soon. And only Earnhardt and Martin now had a shot at Rusty Wallace. Phoenix represents an unusual locale for Winston Cup racing, but it was an instant success when the circuit made its first appearance in 1988. And it was an even bigger hit when the Winston Cup stock cars returned to the waning stages of the '89 season here in Arizona. The competitors enjoy the change of scenery. The teams like the challenge the unique one-mile layout on the fringe of the desert represents. Ken Schrader secures his 4th Busch pole of the season. He's off and running at the start with Terry Labonte, number 11, Alan Kowicki, number 7, in hot pursuit. Schrader holds a narrow lead as the field files by. This one-mile track at Phoenix, with its slight banking, keeps the racing close, the action tight. The 1988 winner of Phoenix, Alan Kowicki, is forced into the pits. It's an unscheduled stop. Sterling Marlin's Oldsmobile is engulfed in flames as he leaves the pits, but he's okay. Wallace has worked his way to the front of the field. A win here would all but wrap up the title. It's not to be as he loops the number 27 Pontiac in turn 2. Frantic work by Barry Dotson and his crew get Wallace back in the chase, but the $1 million championship is back up for grabs. As the race draws to a close, it's Bill Elliott, a steady driving performance for the Georgia lad. He wins the Auto Works 500. Elliott captures his 3rd win of the '89 season in front of a record crowd estimated at over 65,000 people. But the Winston Cup title is still in the balance. It's up to Wallace, Earnhardt, and Martin to claim it in the season finale, the Atlanta Journal 500. The assignments are simple when the teams show up for the season-ending Atlanta Journal 500. Wallace has to finish 18th or better, and the $1 million Winston Cup is his. Earnhardt and Martin have to dominate in winning championship form and hope that Wallace falls prey to misfortune. Atlanta is packed. This is the one they've all been waiting for. An entire season comes down for a decision, not for one driver, not for two, but a trio. Earnhardt, poised like a cobra, ready to strike from his third starting position. Right alongside Rusty Wallace, right behind the front row of Ken Schrader and Alan Kulwicki. In turn two, Dale drops low beneath Kulwicki and moves on by as Wallace fades. Schrader and Earnhardt charge side by side through turns 3 and 4. On the front straight, it's still a door handle battle, with Schrader just nudging by Earnhardt at the stripe. Car 89, Rodney Combs, spins. Earnhardt leads on the restart. Forget the disappointment at Charlotte, the setbacks at North Wilkesboro and Rockingham. Win this race, see what happens. That's the good wrench strategy. Rusty Wallace makes an unscheduled stop and goes a lap down. Greg Sachs spins the Dinner Bell Pontiac, and that collects Richard Petty and Jimmy Spencer. Earnhardt and Schrader continue their war as Mark Martin keeps the leaders in sight. Wallace slows to turn 3. He's headed for the pits for another unplanned stop. He's now 2 laps down. The Coors machine of 1988 champion Bill Elliott is on the sidelines. Out of 4, Dale Earnhardt moves by Wallace yet again, putting Rusty now down 3 laps. The championship hopes of Mark Martin end in this blazing fire. His title hopes are over, at least for 1989. The race for the Winston Cup is on the track. The crews can only watch and wait. They've done their job. It's up to the men behind the wheel. The tension begins to show. The white flag, final circuit for 1989. The last lap of the decade of the 80s. And it's Dale Earnhardt who so clearly dominates this event, leading 294 of the 328 laps. Earnhardt flies under the checkered flag as the Childress crews celebrate. But an emotion-filled Kodiak crew headed by Barry Dotson appeared on the track, waiting for this moment. After all the problems they've sustained in this Atlanta Journal 500, the 1989 Winston Cup champion is crowned. It's Rusty Wallace. Earnhardt celebrates in victory lane. Dale did what he had to do. He won the Atlanta Journal 500, but he fell 12 points short in the final season standings of the $1 million Winston bonus. It was a hard-fought campaign, and Earnhardt looks back over the season.
Well, it was up and down season, really. You know, we had some pretty good races, and we were real competitive all year like usual, but got down to the end of the year and had a couple bad races there, and you know, it hurt us a little bit, but still, all in all, we had a lot of fun racing. You know, racing's what we do and what we enjoy, so ever what we get is what we, you know, do, but you know, I love to win, and it's something we didn't do enough in '89. We're going to work toward 1989 and try to do more of it.
Earnhardt has won the battle, but Wallace has scrambled to a 15th place finish, and he's won the war. A jubilant Rusty Wallace can look ahead to 1990 and defending his championship.
Yeah, I can look ahead to 1990. 1990 is going to be a wonderful year. A new sponsorship, new looking car, a lot of new different things. Even got a new airplane, so I'm excited about 1990 a lot.
The year put a lot of pressure on you, put a lot of pressure on your best friend Dale Earnhardt. How do you think you came out of it?
I think he held up pretty good. He did all right. He got a little weak sometimes on me, but other than that, he held on okay.
What would you say he'd say about you?
I don't know. I think he finally learned it, and he can't win races by mouth, and that's what we both agreed on. And we both went to drive, and we both had good times this year.
Rusty Wallace from the show-me state of Missouri, the kid with a dream, shares his victorious moment with his crew, his kids, and his wife, Patty. Mark Martin was voted the National Motorsports Press Association Driver of the Year. Dick Trickle won the Rookie of the Year title, while Darrell Waltrip was voted for the first time ever Most Popular Driver. The book closes on the last chapter of the 1989 NASCAR Winston Cup campaign. It was over. The season, the decade. Time to kick back and cherish the memories of those great battles in this hard-fought campaign. No, not really. There's barely enough time to pack the uniforms away. For the Winston Cup superstars and the young lions waiting in the wings, it's time to get back to business. Testing sessions and practice runs for the new season begin less than 2 weeks after the final Atlanta go. Forget about downtime and off-season. It's time to prepare for the 90s and another decade of great Winston Cup racing.